Tensions between the United States and Iran have entered a more volatile phase as divisions deepen not only between adversaries, but also among traditional Western allies. What was once a largely unified transatlantic stance now appears increasingly fragmented, with several NATO-aligned countries signaling reluctance to support further escalation. A growing number of European governments are distancing themselves from Washington's military posture, raising questions about the sustainability of coalition-based operations in the region. Recent developments suggest that concerns over legality, strategic risk, and domestic political pressure are shaping these decisions. Italy has emerged as one of the latest countries to demonstrate this caution. Reports indicate that Italian authorities denied landing access to U.S. military aircraft at a key airbase in Sicily. The request had been made as part of logistical routing toward the Middle East, but clearance was ultimately refused. The move underscores an evolving discomfort among Washington's partners, who appear increasingly wary of being drawn deeper into the conflict. This development follows a similar stance taken by Spain, which has gone even further by restricting the use of both its airspace and military facilities for operations connected to the war. The decision carries significant operational consequences. Spain's geographic position makes it a critical transit corridor between North America and the Middle East, and its restrictions force U.S. aircraft to adopt longer, more complex routes. The Spanish government has made its position unambiguous. We will not authorize the use of military bases or airspace for actions related to the war in Iran. This firm stance reflects a broader policy shift rooted in sovereignty and adherence to international law. Spanish leadership has argued that involvement in the conflict will be both strategically unwise and legally questionable. The government has emphasized that its decisions are consistent with bilateral agreements and national interests, even if they create friction with Washington. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez has been among the most vocal European critics of the conflict, characterizing it as lacking sufficient legal justification. Madrid's position highlights a widening gap between U.S. policy objectives and European strategic calculations. The operational implications are already evident. With Spanish airspace effectively off limits, U.S. military planners must reroute flights, increasing fuel consumption, extending mission timelines, and complicating coordination across multiple theaters. While emergency landings remain permitted, the broader restrictions introduce logistical challenges that could impact the tempo of operations. Despite these complications, Washington appears to be pressing ahead with its strategy. The United States has expanded its military presence in the region, deploying thousands of additional personnel, including Marines and units from the 82nd Airborne Division. Naval assets have also been repositioned, with a major amphibious assault ship carrying thousands of sailors and Marines arriving in the Middle East. At the center of the evolving strategy is a controversial proposal involving Iran's critical oil infrastructure. The idea of targeting Karg Island, one of Iran's most vital energy export hubs, has emerged as a potential lever to increase pressure on Tehran. The proposal has sparked intense debate both within the United States and internationally. Karg Island is believed to handle a substantial portion of Iran's crude oil exports, making it a strategic asset with significant economic and geopolitical importance. During a recent interview, the U.S. president openly discussed the possibility of seizing the island, framing it as one of several options under consideration. To be honest with you, my favorite thing is to take the oil in Iran. Maybe we take Karg Island, maybe we don't. We have a lot of options. We could take it very easily. The remarks have drawn sharp reactions from analysts and policymakers alike. Critics warn that such a move would represent a major escalation, potentially triggering broader regional conflict and exposing U.S. forces to heightened risks. Military planners have reportedly explored scenarios involving limited, high-impact operations rather than full-scale invasion. These plans would rely on elite units and rapid deployment forces aiming to achieve specific objectives without committing large numbers of troops to prolonged ground engagement. Officials have remained cautious in public statements, avoiding detailed discussion of operational plans. I won't discuss military tactics. We have objectives, and we are very confident that we are on the verge of achieving it very, very soon. This measured messaging reflects an attempt to balance strategic ambiguity with reassurance, signaling resolve without revealing specifics. At the same time, diplomatic efforts continue in parallel. There have been indications of back-channel communications and proposals aimed at de-escalation. However, Tehran has shown little willingness to accept the terms presented so far. Iranian officials have dismissed the proposals as unrealistic and insincere, arguing that negotiations cannot proceed under conditions of ongoing military pressure. We do not evaluate these claims as honest. They are excessive, unrealistic, and illogical. Iran has also issued strong warnings to regional countries, cautioning against allowing their territory or facilities to be used for attacks. International law and our inherent right to self-defense allow us to target the origin and source of these aggressions. This statement underscores the risk of the conflict expanding beyond its current boundaries. If Iran were to act on such warnings, it could draw additional countries into the confrontation, further complicating an already volatile situation. Tehran has also emphasized its position regarding international agreements, particularly the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty.
While reaffirming its commitment to the treaty, Iranian officials have questioned its value if the country is unable to benefit from its provisions. If membership is just a name on paper, what is the point? This reflects a broader frustration with what Iran perceives as unequal treatment and lack of protection under international frameworks.
Meanwhile, the humanitarian and political dimensions of the conflict continue to evolve. Iranian officials have criticized international institutions for what they describe as inadequate responses to recent developments, particularly in relation to strikes on nuclear facilities. The rhetoric has also extended to broader geopolitical critiques, including sharp comments about Western decision-making processes and leadership. Decisions regarding war and peace are made by a small number of individuals. Such statements highlight deep mistrust and reinforce the narrative of external aggression, which plays a significant role in domestic and regional messaging. The situation is further complicated by shifting alliances and diplomatic maneuvers across the region. Meetings between Gulf states and other regional actors suggest ongoing efforts to manage tensions and prevent further escalation. However, differing priorities and strategic interests make consensus difficult to achieve. Pakistan has reportedly been involved in facilitating indirect communication channels, though its role appears limited to intermediary functions rather than direct participation in negotiations. As the conflict enters a new phase, several key questions remain unresolved. Will the United States proceed with more aggressive actions targeting Iran's economic infrastructure? Can diplomatic efforts gain traction amid ongoing military activity? And perhaps most importantly, how will allied nations navigate the growing divergence in strategic approaches? The answers to these questions will shape not only the trajectory of the current conflict, but also the future of international cooperation in addressing similar crises. What is clear is that the situation is becoming increasingly complex. The interplay between military strategy, diplomatic efforts, and alliance dynamics creates a highly fluid environment where decisions carry significant and far-reaching consequences. For now, the balance between escalation and restraint remains delicate. Each move, whether on the battlefield or at the negotiating table, has the potential to shift the trajectory in unpredictable ways. As tensions persist, the world watches closely, aware that the stakes extend far beyond the immediate actors involved. The unfolding developments will likely have lasting implications for regional stability, global energy markets, and the broader international order.